Before we dive in, leave a comment and tell us what city you're watching from. Don't forget to rate this story from 0 to 10 at the end. The crystal chandeliers of Lumiere cast golden shadows across white tablecloths. Kayla Wood balanced 3 plates on her left arm while her right hand reached for the wine bottle. Table 12 sat empty, waiting. James Harrison walked through the door at exactly 7:30. Charcoal suit. No tie. Eyes like winter storms. Kayla had served him twice before. He'd never looked at her. Not really. Tonight was different. "Good evening, Mr. Harrison." He stared at her for 3 full seconds. How much to buy out this entire restaurant? Heat crawled up her neck. "I'm sorry. Every table. Everyone out." "How much?" The dining room hummed with 70 guests. Anniversary dinners. Business deals. First dates. All about to be erased for one man's whim. "Mr. Harrison, people have waited months for these reservations. I'll pay them. $500 each. Plus whatever the restaurant wants." His jaw tightened. "I just want one meal without cameras. Without whispers. Without being a spectacle." Something cracked in his voice. Not anger. Desperation. Marco appeared, eyes gleaming. "Mr. Harrison, we can make this happen. $25,000 for the restaurant. You cover guest compensation." Kayla watched the floor manager smile. Watched the calculations behind his eyes. This wasn't about kindness. This was about precedent. About what other billionaires would pay for the same privilege. Done. James pulled out his phone. Within 15 minutes, the dining room emptied. Guests filed out clutching refund receipts and compensation checks, some laughing, some annoyed, all recognizing they'd been part of something bizarre. The last couple left. The door locked. Silence settled over Lumiere like snow. James sat alone at table 12. 70 empty chairs surrounded him. He looked smaller somehow. More human. Kayla untied her apron. "What are you doing?" Marco grabbed her arm. "You're staying. He still needs service. I'm off duty. Double pay. Triple. Kayla, please." She looked at James Harrison. At the exhaustion etched into his face. At the single red rose on his table that he'd requested and probably regretted. "No." Marco's face went red. "You walk out that door, you're fired." Kayla's hand trembled as she folded her apron. She thought of her rent. Her mother's disappointed voice. Sophie's birthday dinner she'd already missed. She thought of James Harrison buying silence the only way he knew how. "Then I'm fired." She turned toward the exit. Behind her, a chair scraped against marble. "Wait." His voice stopped her. Deep. Raw. "Don't go." Kayla turned. James stood beside table 12, hands in his pockets, looking nothing like a man who'd just spent $60,000 on privacy. "Please." The word seemed to cost him. "Stay. Not as my server. Just stay." The chandeliers hummed overhead. Through the windows, Manhattan glittered like broken promises. "Why?" Kayla heard herself ask. James Harrison looked at her with those winter ocean eyes. "Because you're the only person in this room who told me no." The air between them crackled with something Kayla couldn't name. Something dangerous. Marco stood frozen by the bar, phone in hand, probably calling the owner. Kayla took one step toward table 12. Then another. "If I stay, I'm not serving you." "Good." James pulled out a chair. "Not at table 12. At table 15, the foretop he'd bought out just to keep empty." "Then sit with me." Kayla's heart hammered against her ribs. This violated every rule. Every boundary. Everything she'd been taught about professional distance. She sat down. James sat across from her. 3 feet of white linen between them. An entire empty restaurant around them. I'm Kayla. I know. Something flickered in his expression. I've always known. The words hung in the air like smoke. Like confession. What do you mean, you've always known? James leaned forward. The candlelight caught the sharp angles of his face. I need to tell you something. And after I do, you'll probably walk out that door anyway. But you deserve the truth. Kayla's mouth went dry. 3 months ago, I hired an investigator to find out everything about you. The world tilted. What? Your name. Your apartment. Your failed culinary school. Your mother. Your friend Sophie. His voice stayed level. Clinical. I know about the restaurant you wanted to open. Woods. I know you're 2 months behind on rent. I know you take the 6 train home every night and you're afraid of the rats on the platform. Ice flooded Kayla's veins. She stood up so fast her chair crashed backward. You've been stalking me? No. James stood too. I've been trying to understand why I can't stop thinking about you. The confession landed between them like a bomb. That's insane. I know. I've served you twice. Twice. We've never had a real conversation. I know that too. He ran a hand through his hair. The careful businessman veneer cracked. But 8 months ago, the first time you brought me wine, you smiled at me like I was human. Not a bank account. Not a photo opportunity. Just human. And I haven't been able to forget it. Kayla's hands shook. So you investigated me? I needed to know if what I felt was real. Or just loneliness. His eyes bore into hers. Turns out it's both. The honesty gutted her. Mr. Harrison. James. Please. Just James. James. His name tasted strange on her tongue. Intimate. This is crazy. You can't just buy a restaurant and hire investigators and expect. I don't expect anything. He took 1 step closer. But I'm tired of pretending I don't see you every time I close my eyes. I'm tired of sitting alone at that table wishing you'd sit down across from me. I'm tired of being so goddamn lonely that hiring a private investigator seemed reasonable. His voice broke on the last word. Kayla should run. Should call the police. Should do anything except stand there feeling her anger dissolve into something more complicated. Why tonight? She whispered. James's jaw worked. Because tomorrow morning, I'm announcing my engagement. Press conference at 9. To Victoria Ashford. Senator's daughter. Perfect political match. He laughed bitterly. The marriage was arranged 6 months ago. Contract signed. Merger complete. The floor dropped out from under Kayla. You're engaged? On paper. His eyes never left hers. I've never touched her. Never wanted to. The whole thing's a business transaction dressed up as romance. He stepped closer. But before I lock myself into that cage forever, I needed one honest moment. One real conversation. One chance to sit across from someone who sees me and doesn't see dollar signs. So I'm what? Your last taste of freedom? No. His voice dropped to barely a whisper. You're the moment I choose to be honest about what I actually want. The space between them compressed. Kayla could smell his cologne. Cedar and smoke. And what do you want, James? His eyes dropped to her mouth. Everything I can't have. Before Kayla could respond, the restaurant's back door burst open. A woman swept in. Blonde. Elegant. Wearing a diamond necklace that could pay Kayla's rent for 5 years. Victoria Ashford stood in the doorway, phone raised, camera pointed directly at them. Smile, darling. Her voice dripped honey and venom. You're about to be all over the internet. The flash blinded them both. The camera flash left spots in Kayla's vision. Victoria Ashford lowered her phone, smile sharp as broken glass. Well. This is cozy. She glided across the empty restaurant, heels clicking against marble. James, darling, you're supposed to be at the Met Gala. With me. James's face went blank. The vulnerability vanished behind corporate armor. Victoria. How did you get in here? I have keys to everywhere you go, sweetheart. Father's security insisted. She stopped 3 feet away, assessing Kayla like expensive wine that had turned. And you must be the server he's been obsessed with. Kayla Wood. 26. Culinary school dropout. 2 months behind on rent. Victoria's smile widened. He does talk about you in his sleep. The words hit Kayla like a slap. You two live together? Penthouse on 5th Avenue. Separate bedrooms, of course. We keep things professional. Victoria circled the table. Tell me, Kayla. How much did he offer you? 10,000? 50? What's the going rate for making a billionaire feel human? Nobody offered me anything. Kayla's voice came out steady despite the chaos in her chest. Please. Victoria laughed. Women like you always have a price. James has bought his way out of every inconvenient feeling he's ever had. That's enough. James stepped between them. Delete the photo. Oh, I don't think so. Victoria's fingers danced across her phone screen. See, tomorrow morning you're announcing our engagement. My father's campaign depends on it. Your board depends on it. 6 months of planning, 3 merger agreements, and $200 million all hinge on you being the perfect, faithful fiancé. She held up her phone. The photo showed James and Kayla inches apart, his face raw with emotion, hers tilted up toward his. Anyone looking would see exactly what Victoria wanted them to see. One tap and this goes to the Times. The Post. TMZ. Every gossip site that's been dying to prove you're not the saint your PR team claims. Victoria's voice turned cold. Your board will crucify you. My father will bury you politically. You'll be the billionaire who cheated before the engagement was even announced. I didn't cheat. James's hands clenched into fists. We're not together. This whole thing is a lie. A lie that cost my family $50 million in political contributions. A lie that's about to make me the most powerful political wife in New York. Victoria stepped closer. You want to blow that up over a server? The word server landed like a punch. Kayla found her voice. What do you want? Victoria's gaze slid to her. Smart girl. I want James at the Met Gala in 20 minutes. I want you gone. I want this little fantasy evening to end before anyone else finds out about it. She paused. And I want you to sign an NDA stating you'll never contact James again. $500,000 for your silence. The number echoed in the empty restaurant. Victoria. James's voice dropped dangerously low. You don't get to buy people. Says the man who just spent $60,000 on privacy. Victoria's laugh was bitter. We're the same, James. We just use different weapons. I'm not signing anything. Kayla's voice surprised her with its strength. Victoria's eyes narrowed. Then you're stupider than I thought. $500,000. You'd never have to serve another entitled rich person. You could open your little restaurant. Woods, wasn't it? She smiled. I did my research too. You can't buy me. Everyone has a price. James learned that the hard way. Victoria's voice turned sharp. Tell her, darling. Tell her about the real reason you hired that investigator. Something flickered across James's face. Fear. Victoria, don't. He didn't hire the investigator to understand his feelings. Victoria's smile was vicious. He hired them to find leverage. Your mother's medical bills. Your best friend Sophie's DUI she's been hiding from her employer. Your landlord's willingness to take cash offers for lease termination. She laughed at Kayla's expression. James wanted to buy you. Set you up in an apartment. Give you the restaurant. Make you his kept woman before he married me. You were supposed to be his escape plan. The words detonated in Kayla's chest. She turned to James. Is that true? His silence was answer enough. I changed my mind. His voice came out rough. When I saw you that first night, yes, I thought I could buy companionship. By someone who'd smile at me without wanting something. But the more I learned about you, the more I realized you'd never accept it. You're not for sale. That's why. That's why you arranged this whole elaborate evening? Kayla's laugh tasted bitter. Bought out the restaurant. Confessed your feelings. Made me think this was real? It is real. No. Kayla backed away. This is a billionaire playing with people's lives because he's bored. You investigated me. Planned to buy me. And when that didn't work, you tried manipulation instead. Kayla. Don't. She held up her hand. You want honesty? Here it is. You're exactly what I expected rich people to be. You see something you want and you take it. You don't care about collateral damage. You don't care about the server whose job you just destroyed or the guests whose evening you ruined. You care about feeling something real in your fake life. Each word hit its mark. She watched James flinch. You're right. His voice cracked. You're completely right. I'm selfish. Manipulative. I used money as a weapon because it's the only thing I know how to use. He stepped toward her. But what I feel when I look at you? That's real. The way my chest tightens. The way I can't sleep. The way I'd burn my entire empire down just to hear you laugh. That's not something I can buy. Victoria clapped slowly. Touching. Really. But we have a gala to attend and a photo to discuss. Her voice turned ice cold. Sign the NDA, take the money, and disappear. Or I release the photo and destroy both of you. You have 60 seconds. Kayla looked at James. At the exhaustion in his winter storm eyes. At the man who'd hired investigators and bought restaurants and tried to purchase his way into something real. She thought about her rent. Her mother's disappointed voice. Sophie's birthday she'd missed. Her dream restaurant that would never exist. $500,000 could change everything. No. Victoria's smile vanished. What? I'm not signing. I'm not taking your money. And I'm not disappearing. Kayla's voice steadied. Release the photo. I don't care. Because unlike both of you, I don't have an empire to protect. I just have my dignity. And I'm not selling it. She walked toward the door. Kayla, wait. James's voice stopped her. Please. Let me fix this. She turned. You can't fix this. You can't buy your way out of it. You created this mess by treating people like chess pieces. She looked at Victoria. Both of you did. Her hand touched the door handle. If you walk out, Marco will blacklist you. Victoria's voice followed her. You'll never work in fine dining again. I'll make sure of it. Then I'll work somewhere else. I can destroy more than your career. I have resources. Connections. I can make your life hell. Kayla paused. Turned. You're right. You can. But I'll still be able to look at myself in the mirror. Can you? She pushed open the door. Cold November air hit her face. Manhattan noise rushed in. Reality after the strange bubble of the empty restaurant. Behind her, she heard James's voice. Let her go. Are you insane? She's a witness. She could. I said let her go. His tone held finality. This is my fault. Not hers. Kayla stepped onto the sidewalk. Her hands shook as she pulled out her phone. No job. No prospects. No idea what came next. A text lit up her screen. Sophie, where are you? We're waiting at Morello's. Birthday girl is getting drunk without you. Kayla started walking. The subway entrance glowed 3 blocks away. Behind her, the restaurant door opened. Kayla. James stood in the doorway. Alone. Victoria's silhouette visible inside, phone raised. I'm sorry. For all of it. The investigation. The manipulation. Thinking I could buy what I wanted. He took 3 steps toward her. But I meant what I said. About seeing you. About wanting something real. You don't even know what real is. I know it feels like this. He gestured between them. Like every careful wall I've built is crumbling. Like I'd rather lose everything than let you walk away thinking I'm just another rich asshole who treats people like possessions. A taxi honked. Somewhere, music played. What do you want from me, James? He ran a hand through his hair. For the first time, he looked genuinely lost. I don't know. Maybe just forgiveness. Maybe just the chance to prove I can be better than this. And your engagement? Your merger? Your perfectly arranged life? I'll end it. Tonight. All of it. Kayla laughed without humor. You'd give up $200 million? Yes. The word hung in the cold air. Why? James stepped closer. Close enough that she could see the desperation in his eyes. Because money can't buy the way I feel right now. Terrified. Awake. Real. Behind him, Victoria appeared in the doorway. Her voice carried across the street. James, if you don't come back inside right now, I'm sending this photo. He didn't turn around. Didn't look away from Kayla. Send it. Victoria's face went white. What? Send the photo. Post it everywhere. I don't care. James's voice rang clear. I'm done pretending. Done with the arrangement. Done being someone's political chess piece. You'll lose everything. Maybe. He finally turned to face her. But I'll still have myself. That's more than I've had in years. Victoria's hand trembled on her phone. You're making a mistake. Probably. James looked back at Kayla. But it's my mistake to make. Victoria's finger hovered over her phone screen. The moment stretched taut as wire. Then she smiled. The expression was terrifying in its coldness. Go ahead. Throw your tantrum. But there's something else you should know. Something I found out an hour ago. She looked at Kayla. Your mother. Catherine Wood. She's in St. Vincent's Hospital right now. Collapsed this afternoon. Pneumonia. The doctors say it's serious. Kayla's world stopped. You're lying. Check your phone. Victoria's smile widened. You have 17 missed calls from a blocked number. The hospital's been trying to reach you all evening. Kayla's hands shook as she pulled up her call log. 17 missed calls. All during service when her phone was silenced. 6 voicemails. She pressed play. Miss Wood, this is St. Vincent's Hospital. Your mother was admitted at 4:15 p.m. She's asking for you. Please call us back at. Kayla's knees went weak. James caught her elbow. I need to go. Right now. I'll take you. He was already pulling out his phone. My car is 2 blocks away. No. Kayla jerked away. I don't need your help. I don't need your car. I don't need anything from you. She started running toward the subway. Kayla. James ran after her. She spun. Stay away from me. This entire night has been a disaster because of you. My job is gone. My life is chaos. And now my mother is in the hospital while I've been playing games with billionaires. Tears burned her eyes. Just stay away. She ran. Behind her, Victoria's voice floated through the cold air. Still think you're better than me, darling? You just destroyed that girl's life. And for what? A feeling? Kayla didn't hear James's response. She was already underground, pushing through turnstiles, racing toward the platform. The 6 train pulled in. Doors opened. She collapsed into a plastic seat as the train lurched forward. Through her reflection in the dark window, she saw her own face. Makeup smudged. Eyes wild. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number, your mother is stable. Room 4C. Visiting hours end at 10 p.m. Another text. This one from James's number. She didn't know how he'd gotten it. I'll cover all her medical bills. No strings. I'm sorry. For everything. Kayla stared at the message. At the easy solution. The billionaire answer to every problem. She blocked the number. The train raced through darkness toward the hospital. Toward her mother. Toward whatever came next. But as the lights of Manhattan blurred past, Kayla couldn't stop thinking about James's face in that last moment. The genuine devastation. The man crumbling behind the money. She pushed the thought away. Some things couldn't be bought. Some damage couldn't be fixed. Some nights changed everything. St. Vincent's Hospital smelled like antiseptic and fear. Kayla's shoes squeaked against linoleum as she ran toward the 4th floor. 9:47 p.m. 13 minutes before visiting hours ended. Room 4C sat at the end of a fluorescent hallway. Through the door's window, Kayla saw her mother. Small against white sheets. Oxygen tube in her nose. 4 in her arm. Kayla's breath caught. Mom? Catherine Wood's eyes opened. 52 years old but looking 70 in the harsh hospital light. Kayla. You came. Of course I came. Kayla pulled a chair to the bedside. Why didn't you tell me you were sick? Didn't want to worry you. Thought it was just a cold. Her mother's voice rasped. Turns out my lungs disagreed. The doctor said pneumonia. Bacterial. They caught it in time. Catherine squeezed Kayla's hand. Don't look so scared. I'm not dying today. But Kayla saw the truth in the monitors. The labored breathing. The weakness in her mother's grip. How much is this going to cost? Don't worry about that now. Mom. We don't have insurance. We can't afford. We'll figure it out. Catherine's eyes closed. We always do. Kayla thought of James's text. The offer to pay. The easy solution. She pushed it away. A nurse appeared in the doorway. Visiting hours are over. You can come back tomorrow at 8 a.m. Can I stay? Just tonight? Family-only stays are for critical patients. Your mother is stable. The nurse's voice was kind but firm. She needs rest. So do you. Kayla kissed her mother's forehead. I'll be back first thing. Kayla. Her mother's hand caught hers. Whatever happened tonight, whatever's got you looking so rattled, let it go. Life's too short to carry other people's chaos. The words landed heavy. Outside, the November night had turned colder. Kayla's breath fogged the air as she walked toward the subway. Her phone showed 10:23 p.m. 17 texts from Sophie. 3 from Marco. 1 from an unknown number. She opened the unknown message. I broke it off. Victoria. The engagement. All of it. Not because you asked me to. Because you were right. I've been living a lie. The photo never got posted. She deleted it. But the damage between us is done. She's threatening a lawsuit. My board is furious. I don't care. I'm sorry. For everything. James. Kayla stared at the message. At the destruction she'd somehow caused just by existing. She started typing a response. Deleted it. Started again. Why are you telling me this? The response came instantly. Because I want you to know it wasn't for nothing. Tonight mattered. You matter. Her hands shook on the phone. My mother can't afford her hospital bills. I lost my job. I can't even afford subway fare home. The truth spilled out. And you're texting me about how tonight mattered? This is real life, James. Not some romantic gesture. Real consequences. Real problems your money created. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Let me help. No. Please. I can. I said no. Kayla blocked the number. The subway entrance gaped before her. She descended into familiar concrete and fluorescent light. The platform held 6 other people. A woman with groceries. 2 teenage boys. A businessman. A couple arguing in Spanish. Normal people. Living normal lives. Kayla's phone buzzed. Another unknown number. She almost deleted it. But something made her look. This is Victoria Ashford. We need to talk. Meet me at the corner bistro. West 4th Street. 30 minutes. Come alone. Kayla's stomach dropped. Why would I meet you? Because I have information about your mother's hospital bill. And about James. Things you need to hear. The train pulled in. Doors opened. Kayla stood frozen. Every instinct screamed trap. But Victoria had been right about the hospital. Right about the 17 missed calls. What else did she know? 20 minutes later, Kayla pushed open the door of Corner Bistro. Dark wood. Cheap beer. The opposite of Lumiere's elegance. Victoria sat in a corner booth. No diamonds tonight. Just jeans and a sweater. Without the armor, she looked younger. Vulnerable. You came. Victoria gestured to the seat across from her. I wasn't sure you would. I have 10 minutes. Talk. Victoria slid a folder across the table. Your mother's medical file. I had someone pull it this afternoon. Kayla's blood ran cold. How did you get this? My father sits on St. Vincent's board. I asked for a favor. Victoria's voice held no apology. The pneumonia is worse than they told you. Bacterial, yes, but resistant to standard antibiotics. They're trying experimental treatment. The bill so far is $73,000. It'll be $200,000 by the end of the week. The number sucked the air from Kayla's lungs. That's impossible. We don't have. I know. You don't have insurance. Your mother makes $28,000 a year as a library assistant. You make $32,000 counting tips. Victoria's eyes held strange sympathy. You're about to drown. And James wants to throw you a life raft. I won't take his money. Why? Pride? Victoria laughed bitterly. Pride doesn't pay medical bills. I learned that the hard way. Something in her voice made Kayla look closer. At the shadows under Victoria's eyes. The tension in her jaw. What do you want from me? The truth. Victoria leaned forward. Did James tell you why he really wanted to end our engagement? Because it was fake. A business arrangement. That's what he told you. Victoria pulled out her phone. Showed Kayla a photo. James and Victoria on a beach somewhere. Laughing. His arm around her. Both of them young, happy, unguarded. That was 8 years ago. Montauk. Before his company went public. Before my father became a senator. Victoria's voice cracked. We were in love. Real love. The kind that makes you stupid and reckless and willing to give up everything. Kayla's chest tightened. What happened? His board happened. My father happened. $100 million in venture capital that depended on James being single, hungry, and focused. Victoria swiped to another photo. James alone, thinner, eyes hollow. He chose the money. Said he couldn't lose the company. Promised we'd find our way back after the IPO. But you didn't. We tried. For 3 years, we tried. Victoria's hands trembled. Then my father's campaign needed a power couple. James's board needed him married to someone respectable. So we arranged it. Convinced ourselves we could be business partners. That love was just a luxury we couldn't afford anymore. Her eyes met Kayla's. But then he saw you. And suddenly he remembered what it felt like to want something that wasn't on a spreadsheet. The words hit like a hammer. That's not my fault. I know. Victoria's smile was sad. I'm not here because I'm angry at you. I'm here because I need you to understand what you're walking into. She pulled out another folder. Thicker than the first. This is everything James didn't tell you. The investigator he hired? That was 6 months ago. Long before tonight. He's been watching you for half a year. Every shift. Every subway ride. Every coffee shop you stop at before work. Ice flooded Kayla's veins. There are photos. Surveillance logs. Notes on your routines. Your friends. Your habits. Victoria's voice turned hard. James Harrison didn't fall for you in one evening. He's been obsessed with you for months. And obsession isn't love. It's possession. Kayla's hands shook as she opened the folder. Pages of surveillance photos. Her leaving her apartment. Walking to work. Meeting Sophie for dinner. Every moment catalogued. Every movement tracked. Beneath the photos, handwritten notes in sharp script. Subject takes same route to work daily. Vulnerable during evening commute. Subject's financial situation makes her susceptible to offers of assistance. Subject's emotional attachment to mother could be leveraged if necessary. The clinical language turned her stomach. He was planning this. Kayla's voice came out strangled. All of it. Not the way you think. Victoria closed the folder. James convinced himself he was protecting you. That if he understood you, knew your vulnerabilities, he could keep you safe. But it's still stalking. Still manipulation. Still a man with unlimited resources treating your life like a puzzle he could solve. Why are you showing me this? Victoria's laugh was bitter. Because I spent 8 years loving a man who thinks love is something you can engineer. Something you can control. And I watched it destroy us both. She leaned forward. Walk away, Kayla. Before he destroys you too. What's in it for you? Honestly? Victoria's eyes glistened. Maybe I'm just tired of watching him pretend he's capable of healthy love. Maybe I want him to face consequences for once. Or maybe I'm just a vindictive bitch who can't stand watching him want someone else. Her honesty was startling. Kayla stood. I need to go. Wait. Victoria grabbed her wrist. There's more. About your mother's bills. I told you, I'm not taking James's money. It's not James's money. Victoria's grip tightened. It's mine. 200,000. No strings. No NDA. Just a wire transfer to St. Vincent's tomorrow morning covering everything. Kayla froze. Why would you do that? My father sits on St. Vincent's board. I asked for a favor. Victoria's voice held no apology. The pneumonia is worse than they told you. Bacterial, yes, but resistant to standard antibiotics. They're trying experimental treatment. The bill so far is $73,000. It'll be $200,000 by the end of the week. The number sucked the air from Kayla's lungs. That's impossible. We don't have. I know. You don't have insurance. Your mother makes $28,000 a year as a library assistant. You make $32,000 counting tips. Victoria's eyes held strange sympathy. You're about to drown. And James wants to throw you a life raft. I won't take his money. Why? Pride? Victoria laughed bitterly. Pride doesn't pay medical bills. I learned that the hard way. Something in her voice made Kayla look closer. At the shadows under Victoria's eyes. The tension in her jaw. What do you want from me? The truth. Victoria leaned forward. Did James tell you why he really wanted to end our engagement? Because it was fake. A business arrangement. That's what he told you. Victoria pulled out her phone. Showed Kayla a photo. James and Victoria on a beach somewhere. Laughing. His arm around her. Both of them young, happy, unguarded. That was 8 years ago. Montauk. Before his company went public. Before my father became a senator. Victoria's voice cracked. We were in love. Real love. The kind that makes you stupid and reckless and willing to give up everything. Kayla's chest tightened. What happened? His board happened. My father happened. $100 million in venture capital that depended on James being single, hungry, and focused. Victoria swiped to another photo. James alone, thinner, eyes hollow. He chose the money. Said he couldn't lose the company. Promised we'd find our way back after the IPO. But you didn't. We tried. For 3 years, we tried. Victoria's hands trembled. Then my father's campaign needed a power couple. James's board needed him married to someone respectable. So we arranged it. Convinced ourselves we could be business partners. That love was just a luxury we couldn't afford anymore. Her eyes met Kayla's. But then he saw you. And suddenly he remembered what it felt like to want something that wasn't on a spreadsheet. The words hit like a hammer. That's not my fault. I know. Victoria's smile was sad. I'm not here because I'm angry at you. I'm here because I need you to understand what you're walking into. She pulled out another folder. Thicker than the first. This is everything James didn't tell you. The investigator he hired? That was 6 months ago. Long before tonight. He's been watching you for half a year. Every shift. Every subway ride. Every coffee shop you stop at before work. Ice flooded Kayla's veins. There are photos. Surveillance logs. Notes on your routines. Your friends. Your habits. Victoria's voice turned hard. James Harrison didn't fall for you in one evening. He's been obsessed with you for months. And obsession isn't love. It's possession. Kayla's hands shook as she opened the folder. Pages of surveillance photos. Her leaving her apartment. Walking to work. Meeting Sophie for dinner. Every moment catalogued. Every movement tracked. Beneath the photos, handwritten notes in sharp script. Subject takes same route to work daily. Vulnerable during evening commute. Subject's financial situation makes her susceptible to offers of assistance. Subject's emotional attachment to mother could be leveraged if necessary. The clinical language turned her stomach. He was planning this. Kayla's voice came out strangled. All of it. Not the way you think. Victoria closed the folder. James convinced himself he was protecting you. That if he understood you, knew your vulnerabilities, he could keep you safe. But it's still stalking. Still manipulation. Still a man with unlimited resources treating your life like a puzzle he could solve. Why are you showing me this? Victoria's laugh was bitter. Because I spent 8 years loving a man who thinks love is something you can engineer. Something you can control. And I watched it destroy us both. She leaned forward. Walk away, Kayla. Before he destroys you too. What's in it for you? Honestly? Victoria's eyes glistened. Maybe I'm just tired of watching him pretend he's capable of healthy love. Maybe I want him to face consequences for once. Or maybe I'm just a vindictive bitch who can't stand watching him want someone else. Her honesty was startling. Kayla stood. I need to go. Wait. Victoria grabbed her wrist. There's more. About your mother's bills. I told you, I'm not taking James's money. It's not James's money. Victoria's grip tightened. It's mine. 200,000. No strings. No NDA. Just a wire transfer to St. Vincent's tomorrow morning covering everything. Kayla froze. Why would you do that? Kayla dove into the SUV. The door slammed. The vehicle accelerated. Through the tinted windows, she watched photographers scatter. James sat 3 feet away. Suit rumpled. Tie gone. Hair disheveled. He looked like he'd aged 10 years in 3 hours. Where are we going? Somewhere safe. His voice was hollow. I have a place in Brooklyn. Nobody knows about it. We can figure this out there. There's nothing to figure out. Kayla's hands shook. I want out. All of it. The photos. The attention. You. The photo was edited. Manipulated. My team is working on proving it's fake. We'll issue a statement. Sue the original poster. Make this go away. You can't make it go away. Kayla laughed bitterly. It's already everywhere. My face. My name. My entire life is now public property because I had the misfortune of catching your attention. James flinched. I never meant for this to happen. But it did happen. Because you hired investigators. Because you bought out restaurants. Because you treated my life like something you could possess. She turned to face him. Victoria was right. You don't know how to love without consuming. Victoria showed you the surveillance files. Yes. James closed his eyes. I can explain. Don't. I've heard enough explanations. Enough justifications. Enough rich people telling me why their terrible choices were actually complicated and nuanced. Kayla's voice cracked. Just take me to your safe house. Let me hide until the internet finds someone else to destroy. Then let me disappear. The SUV pulled into an underground garage. Concrete pillars. Shadows. The driver cut the engine. James opened his door. This way. They took an elevator to the 8th floor. The building was old. Industrial. Nothing like the gleaming luxury Kayla expected. James unlocked apartment 8F. Inside was a studio. Small. Sparse. A bed. A desk. A window overlooking the East River. This is where I come when I need to think. James set his keys on the desk. Nobody knows about it. Not Victoria. Not my security team. Just me. And now me. And now you. Silence settled between them. Outside, the city hummed with traffic and sirens and life continuing despite everything. Kayla sank onto the edge of the bed. My mother is dying. Did Victoria tell you that? No. Pneumonia. Resistant to antibiotics. The bills are already over $70,000. They'll hit $200,000 by the end of the week. She looked up at him. Victoria offered to pay for everything. All I have to do is disappear from your life. James's face went white. Don't. Why not? It solves everything. My mother lives. You avoid a scandal. Victoria gets what she wants. And what about what you want? Kayla's laugh was hollow. I wanted to be a chef. I wanted my own restaurant. I wanted to make food that mattered. She gestured at the window. None of that exists anymore. The moment that photo went viral, I stopped being Kayla Wood. I became the mystery woman. The server who seduced a billionaire. That's my identity now. We can fix this. Stop saying that. Kayla stood. You can't fix what you fundamentally broke. You looked at me and saw a puzzle. A problem. Something to be solved with enough money and planning and surveillance. Her voice rose. I was a person, James. With dreams and friends and a life that wasn't perfect but was mine. And you destroyed it because you were lonely. Each word landed like a blow. She watched James crumble. You're right. His voice barely rose above a whisper. About all of it. I'm a monster who treats people like possessions. I convinced myself I was protecting you when I was really just trying to control you. I hired investigators and bought restaurants and arranged an entire evening because I thought I could engineer genuine connection. He ran his hands through his hair. But here's the truth I can't escape. When I look at you, I feel human for the first time in a decade. And that feeling is so powerful it made me selfish. Reckless. Willing to hurt you just to feel alive. Tears ran down his face. I'm sorry. For the surveillance. For the manipulation. For dragging you into my chaos. You're right that I don't know how to love without consuming. But I want to learn. I want to be better. And if that means letting you walk away, accepting Victoria's deal, and never seeing you again, then that's what I'll do. Because maybe that's what real love actually is. Letting go. The confession gutted Kayla. She wanted to hate him. Wanted the anger to overwhelm the pull she still felt toward this broken man. Did you ever love Victoria? The question surprised them both. James sat on the desk chair. Yes. 8 years ago. Before I became this. He gestured at himself. She was right about that. We were real once. But I chose my company. Chose money and power and the idea that I could have both if I was just disciplined enough. His voice cracked. I destroyed the best thing in my life because I thought success mattered more. And now you're trying to do it differently with me. I'm trying to figure out who I am when I'm not just a bank account. He looked at her. You're the first person in years who looked at me and saw a human being. Not potential profit. Not a photo opportunity. Just a man. And I wanted that so desperately I convinced myself surveillance was research. That manipulation was courtship. That buying your attention was acceptable because at least it was honest. It wasn't honest. It was stalking. I know. It was cruel. I know. It was everything you claim to regret but keep doing anyway. James stood. Walked to the window. His reflection in the glass looked haunted. There's something else you should know. The edited photo. The one that went viral. He turned. Victoria didn't just show you surveillance files tonight. She leaked them. To the press. Your address, your commute, your mother's hospital information. All of it. She wanted to force your hand. Make you so desperate you'd take her deal. Ice flooded Kayla's veins. You're lying. I wish I was. He pulled out his phone. Showed her an email chain. Victoria's name at the top. Attachments labeled Kayla Wood, full surveillance package. Sent to 3 different tabloid editors at 9:47 p.m. Right after Victoria had left Corner Bistro. Kayla's knees went weak. She used me. We both did. James's voice held terrible truth. I used you to feel human. She used you to punish me. And now you're paying the price for our war. Kayla's phone buzzed. Sophie. She answered. Kayla, oh my God, are you okay? There are photographers outside your apartment. They're offering money to your neighbors for information. Someone sold them photos of your bedroom window. Sophie's voice shook. Where are you? Are you safe? I'm safe. I can't tell you where. Kayla, this is insane. Who is this guy? Why is everyone so interested? I don't know anymore. Through the phone, she heard shouting. Cameras clicking. They're at my place now. Sophie's voice rose. They think you might be here. I need to call the police. The line went dead. Kayla stared at her phone. At the destruction radiating outward like shrapnel. Her mother in the hospital. Her best friend being harassed. Her life exploded across the internet. All because she'd smiled at a lonely billionaire. James stood by the window, hands in his pockets, looking more lost than she'd ever seen him. Victoria's offer stands. Kayla's voice came out flat. 200,000 for my mother. All I have to do is disappear. Don't take it. Please. We'll find another way. There is no other way. She met his eyes. You know it. I know it. This is how it ends. With me taking money from someone who hates you to save someone I love. That's the price of your obsession. I'll pay the bills. No strings. I swear. Your money is tainted now. Every dollar comes with surveillance and manipulation and lies. She stood. At least Victoria's honest about why she's doing it. She wants me gone. Simple. Clean. Transactional. She's manipulating you. So are you. You're both manipulating me. The only difference is Victoria's offer comes with a solution to my actual problem. Kayla pulled out her phone. Typed a message to Victoria. I'll take your deal. Wire the money tomorrow. I disappear. James never contacts me again. Her finger hovered over send. James crossed the room in 3 strides. Please. Don't. There has to be another option. Name one. I'll sell the company. Liquidate everything. Walk away from it all. We'll leave the city. Start over somewhere nobody knows us. You can have your restaurant. I'll work in the kitchen. We'll build something real. The fantasy was beautiful. Painful. And in 6 months, when the money runs out and reality sets in, what then? When you realize you gave up billions for a server who can't even make a decent soufflé? Kayla's voice broke. You'll resent me. We'll destroy each other. This is already toxic. Leaving won't fix the rot. Then what do we do? We end it. She pressed send. Before it gets worse. Her phone immediately buzzed. Victoria's response. Smart choice. Money wired at 9 a.m. Don't contact James. Don't look back. Live your life. Another message. Bank details. Confirmation codes. Everything organized. Efficient. As if Victoria had been planning this outcome all along. James sank onto the bed. So that's it. I lose you to save you from myself. You never had me. I know. That's what makes it worse. He looked up at her. I would have been different for you. Better. I would have learned how to love without consuming. But I ran out of time. Kayla moved toward the door. Wait. James stood. One thing. Please. Before you go. What? Tell me your real name. Kayla froze. What are you talking about? Kayla Wood. I know that's not real. The investigator found the records. You changed it 7 years ago. After culinary school. After something happened that made you want to erase who you were. His eyes held strange gentleness. I never told anyone. Never used it as leverage. But before you disappear, I want to know who you really are. Not the version you show the world. The real you. For a long moment, Kayla couldn't breathe. Claire. The name tasted foreign on her tongue. Forgotten. Claire Murphy. That was my name before culinary school. Before I dropped out. Before everything fell apart. What happened to Claire? She trusted someone. Let him into her life. He stole her recipes. Her ideas. Used them to open his own restaurant. Made millions while she couldn't even graduate. Kayla's voice shook. So Claire disappeared. Became Kayla. Learned to keep walls up. Never trust. Never open up. Never let anyone close enough to take anything. Understanding dawned in James's eyes. And I proved you right. You proved me right. James stepped closer. Not touching. Just close enough that she could see the exhaustion in every line of his face. Claire Murphy deserved better. So did Kayla Wood. His voice dropped to barely a whisper. I'm sorry I couldn't be the person who gave it to her. Something in Kayla's chest cracked. Before she could stop herself, she closed the distance between them. Rose on her toes. Pressed her lips to his. The kiss lasted 3 seconds. Soft. Sad. Tasting like goodbye. When she pulled away, tears ran down both their faces. That's the only real thing between us. Kayla's voice broke. Everything else was manipulation and money and games. But that was real. She opened the door. James didn't follow. Claire. His voice stopped her. For what it's worth, I would have waited tables in your restaurant. Would have scrubbed floors. Would have done anything just to be near you. The money didn't matter. It never did. Yes, it did. Kayla looked back one last time. It always does. She walked out. The elevator carried her down. Out of the building. into the pre-dawn streets of Brooklyn. Her phone buzzed. Sophie. Where are you? Are you coming home? The photographers are gone, but I'm scared they'll come back. I'm not coming home. Not for a while. Maybe not ever. What? Kayla, what's happening? I'm leaving the city. Today. Before anyone finds me again. I'll send you money for last month's rent. I'm sorry for dragging you into this. You're leaving? Just like that? I don't have a choice. Silence on the line. Then Sophie's voice, small and hurt. You always have a choice, Kayla. You're just finally making one that isn't about fear. The words landed hard. I need to go. I love you. Tell my mom I'll visit when it's safe. Kayla hung up. Blocked her own number before Sophie could call back. The sky was turning pink over the East River. A new day. A new start. Kayla Wood would disappear. Victoria's money would save her mother. James would go back to his empire. Everyone would get what they wanted. Except none of them would have the only thing that mattered. Each other. Her phone buzzed one final time. Unknown number. The money is wired. Your mother's bills are paid. The photo has been taken down. My lawyers sent cease and desist letters to every outlet. You're free. Don't waste it. Victoria. Another message. James this time. I'm not letting you do this. Kayla stared at the screen. You don't get a vote. Goodbye, James. She blocked the number. Turned off her phone. Dropped it in a trash can on the corner. At a bus station in Queens, she bought a ticket. Destination random. Somewhere in the Midwest. Somewhere nobody would know Claire Murphy or Kayla Wood or the mystery woman from that viral photo. The bus pulled out at 6:47 a.m. Through the window, Kayla watched Manhattan shrink into the distance. All those lights. All those dreams. All that possibility. Gone. She closed her eyes. Behind her lids, she saw James's face in that last moment. The devastation. The acceptance. The love he'd finally learned to let go. Maybe Victoria was right. Maybe some people couldn't love without consuming. Or maybe Kayla had just run away from the one person who'd been willing to burn his entire world down to prove he could be different. She'd never know now. 3 months later. Cedar Falls, Iowa, looked nothing like Manhattan. Main Street had 12 businesses. The diner where Claire Murphy now worked had 14 tables. The tips averaged $8. Nobody recognized her. She'd dyed her hair blonde. Cut it short. Wore glasses she didn't need. The viral photo had faded from the internet, replaced by newer scandals, fresher controversies. Kayla Wood had disappeared. Claire Murphy had returned. The lunch rush ended at 2 p.m. Claire wiped down tables, refilled ketchup bottles, and tried not to think about James Harrison's face in that Brooklyn apartment. She failed every time. Her phone, a new burner with a new number, buzzed. Sophie. The only person who knew where she was. Your mom is asking about you again. How is she? Recovering. The new antibiotics worked. She's home now. Asking why you won't visit. Sophie's voice held accusation. You can't hide forever. I'm not hiding. I'm living. In Cedar Falls, Iowa? Serving pancakes to farmers? That's not living, Kayla. That's running. My name is Claire. Your name is whatever lets you sleep at night. Sophie sighed. But you can't outrun what happened. Trust me. I've tried. The line went quiet. Then Sophie spoke again, softer. He's been looking for you. James. Hired investigators again. Different ones. They came to my apartment last week. Asked if I'd heard from you. Offered money for information. Claire's chest tightened. What did you tell them? That I didn't know where you were. That you'd disappeared, and good riddance to the mess he created. Sophie paused. But Claire, he looked awful. Like he hadn't slept in weeks. He's lost weight. There are articles about him stepping down from his board. Selling shares. Liquidating assets. People think he's having a breakdown. That's not my problem. Isn't it? You broke his heart. He broke yours. And now you're both suffering in different zip codes instead of figuring out if this thing between you was real. It wasn't real. It was obsession and manipulation, and one kiss that made you cry for 3 hours on a bus to Iowa. Sophie's voice turned sharp. I know you, Claire. I know when you're lying to yourself. Whatever James did, however he hurt you, you still feel something. And running away won't make it stop. Claire hung up. Outside the diner window, Cedar Falls continued its slow afternoon rhythm. A tractor drove past. Mrs. Henderson walked her dog. Everything peaceful. Safe. Exactly what she'd wanted. Exactly what was killing her. That night, Claire couldn't sleep. She lay in her rented room above the hardware store, staring at water stains on the ceiling. At 3 a.m., she gave up. Walked to the 24-hour convenience store on the corner. Bought coffee and stood in the parking lot watching moths circle the streetlight. A black SUV pulled up. Claire's heart stopped. The door opened. James Harrison stepped out. He looked terrible. Thinner. Hollow-eyed. Hair longer and unkempt. His suit had been replaced by jeans and a sweater. He looked like a man who'd stopped caring about appearances. How did you find me? Claire's voice came out strangled. I hired 50 investigators. Sent them to every small town in America. Paid them to ask about a woman who looked lost. Who dyed her hair. Who might be running from something. He took 3 steps closer. It took 67 days. But I found you. You need to leave. I know. I will. In a minute. James stopped 10 feet away. I just needed to say something first. To your face. Not through messages or intermediaries or money. I don't want to hear it. Please. Just let me say this. Then I'll go. I promise. You'll never see me again. Something in his voice made her pause. 5 minutes. James exhaled like he'd been holding his breath for months. I sold the company. All of it. My shares. My board position. Everything. The sale finalized yesterday. I walked away with $400 million. I'm giving $300 million to charity. Various causes. Children's hospitals. Scholarship funds. Food banks. Places that will use it better than I ever did. Claire's jaw went slack. Why? Because you were right. Money made me a monster. It let me think I could buy connection, engineer love, possess people. His voice cracked. So I got rid of it. Most of it. Kept enough to live modestly. Maybe open a small business. Probably mess it up because I don't actually know how to do anything except leverage capital. He laughed bitterly. But I wanted you to know. Before you disappeared completely. That I heard you. That I'm trying to be different. That your words in that apartment didn't just sting. They changed me. Claire's hands trembled. You gave up billions because of one conversation? I gave up billions because they were destroying me. You just helped me see it. James took another step closer. I also ended things with Victoria. Permanently. Broke the engagement publicly. Explained it was fake. Took full responsibility for the manipulation. She's suing me for defamation. I'm letting her win. James. I'm not telling you this because I want you back. I know I burned that bridge. Doused it in gasoline. Lit it on fire. His winter ocean eyes met hers. I'm telling you because you deserve to know that you didn't ruin my life. You saved it. You gave me permission to stop being the person money turned me into. Tears ran down Claire's face. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. James pulled an envelope from his pocket. Set it on the ground between them. This is the deed to a building in Brooklyn. Small. Nothing fancy. It has a commercial kitchen. Living space upstairs. I bought it 3 months ago. Put it in your name. Kayla Wood. Claire Murphy. Whoever you want to be. He stepped back. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I'm not asking for another chance. I'm just giving you the choice I should have given you from the beginning. The choice to have your dream without my interference. No strings. No surveillance. No manipulation. Just a kitchen and a chance to be who you were meant to be. Claire stared at the envelope. At the man who tracked her across half the country just to give her a gift he'd never see her use. Why? The word came out broken. Because real love means letting go. You taught me that. James turned toward the SUV. I'll have my lawyers send over the paperwork. The building is yours whether you use it or not. Whether you ever speak to me again or not. No conditions. Just a gift from someone who's sorry. He opened the car door. James, wait. He paused. Didn't turn around. Claire picked up the envelope. Held it against her chest. Did you mean it? What you said in the apartment? That you'd work in my kitchen? Scrub floors? Just to be near me? Every word. Even though I told you to leave? Even though I took Victoria's money? Even though I disappeared without a trace? Especially because of all that. James's voice was barely audible. You showed me who I was. Who I'd become. And you gave me the gift of consequences. Of loss. Of understanding that some things can't be bought back. He climbed into the SUV. Claire ran. Grabbed the door before it closed. What if I don't want the building? James looked at her. At the tears on her face. At the way she gripped the envelope like a lifeline. Then sell it. Donate it. Burn it down. It's yours to do with as you please. What if I want something else? His breath caught. What? What if I want a partner? Someone who's learning not to consume? Someone who's willing to start small? Work hard? Build something real without surveillance or manipulation or billion-dollar shortcuts? Hope flickered across his face. Dangerous. Fragile. Claire. Don't do this unless you mean it. I can't survive hoping again only to watch you walk away. I'm not walking away. She climbed into the SUV. Sat beside him. I'm choosing. For the first time in 7 years, I'm choosing something that scares me. Someone who scares me. Because maybe the opposite of running isn't staying still. Maybe it's running toward something instead of away. James stared at her like she might disappear any second. I'll mess this up. I don't know how to be in a healthy relationship. I'll probably try to fix things with money. I'll want to protect you in ways that feel like control. Claire kissed him. Soft at first. Then deeper. Tasting like coffee and 3 months of regret and the terrifying hope that maybe broken people could build something whole together. When she pulled back, both of them were crying. We'll mess it up together. Claire's voice shook. We'll fight about boundaries and money and trust. We'll probably fail. This whole thing might crash and burn within 6 months. But at least we'll do it honestly. No surveillance. No manipulation. Just two people trying to figure out what love looks like when it's not poisoned by power. James touched her face like she was made of glass. I don't deserve this. Neither do I. That's the point. Claire laughed through tears. We're both disasters. Both running from who we were. Both trying to become something better. Maybe that's enough. The SUV sat in the convenience store parking lot. Moths circled the streetlight. Cedar Falls slept around them. What happens now? James whispered. Now we go back to Brooklyn. Open a restaurant. Probably serve terrible food for the first 6 months while we figure out how to work together. Claire leaned her forehead against his. We'll hire Sophie as manager. Invite my mom to the opening. Try to build something small and honest and real. What about the fame? The viral photo? What if people recognize you? Let them. I'm done hiding. Done being Kayla Wood who kept walls up. Done being Claire Murphy who ran away when things got hard. She met his eyes. From now on, I'm both. All the messy, complicated, scared parts. And if people want to photograph that, fine. At least it'll be true. James pulled her closer. I love you. The words hung between them. Heavy with history. Bright with possibility. I don't know if I love you yet. Claire's honesty cut clean. But I want to find out. Want to see if this feeling is real or just two lonely people clinging to each other in the dark. Want to give us a real chance. No games. No manipulation. Just truth. That's more than I hoped for. Good. Because hope is dangerous. She smiled. But maybe that's what makes it worth it. The driver cleared his throat. Where to, Mr. Harrison? James looked at Claire. Where to? Brooklyn. But we're driving. No private jets. No luxury. We're stopping at diners. Sleeping in cheap motels. Figuring out how to exist together without the money insulating us. Claire's voice steadied. If we're doing this, we're doing it real. James laughed. Actual, genuine laughter that transformed his whole face. Okay. Real it is. The SUV pulled out of the parking lot. Past the hardware store. Past the diner. Onto the highway that would carry them back toward the life they'd both run from. In the back seat, Claire held James's hand. His grip was gentle. Uncertain. Human. Thank you. His voice was barely audible. For what? For giving me a second chance to be the person I should have been the first time. Claire squeezed his hand. Thank you for finding me. Even though I told you not to. Even though it was probably unhealthy and definitely broke a dozen boundaries. So we're both disasters. Complete disasters. They looked at each other and started laughing. The kind of laughter that comes from exhaustion and relief and the strange, terrifying joy of choosing chaos over safety. Outside, America rolled past in the pre-dawn darkness. Somewhere ahead, Brooklyn waited. A building with a kitchen. A chance to start over. A future written in food instead of surveillance reports. It wouldn't be easy. Probably wouldn't even be happy most days. But it would be theirs. Built on honesty instead of money. On choice instead of obsession. On the fragile hope that two broken people could heal each other without consuming each other in the process. Maybe they'd make it. Maybe they'd crash and burn. Either way, they'd do it together. And that was enough. 6 months later, a small restaurant opened in Brooklyn. No fanfare. No press releases. Just a hand-painted sign above the door, Woods. Inside, the menu was simple. Honest food. Nothing pretentious. The kind of cooking that made people remember why eating mattered. The chef was a woman with short blonde hair and kind eyes who moved through the kitchen like she'd finally found home. The sous chef was a man in jeans and an apron who'd forgotten what it felt like to be a billionaire and was learning what it meant to be a partner instead. They fought sometimes. About temperatures and techniques and whose turn it was to scrub the floors. But they laughed more. And at the end of each service, they'd sit together in the empty dining room and talk about the future. Not the future they'd planned. The one they were building. One honest day at a time. On the wall behind the bar hung a single photograph. Not the viral one. Not the edited image that had destroyed and rebuilt their lives. Just a snapshot. Claire and James. Covered in flour. Laughing at some joke only they understood. Looking at each other like two people who'd survived the storm and chosen to stay anyway. Underneath, in small letters, a quote. Real love means choosing every day. Even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Sophie saw it every shift. Smiled every time. Catherine would came for dinner once a month. Watched her daughter cook. Watched James wash dishes. Understood without asking that sometimes the best endings are the ones nobody expected. Victoria sent a card on opening night. Just 3 words, you were right. The viral photo still existed somewhere on the internet. 6 million views. 10 million. A moment frozen in time that told a story that wasn't quite true. But the real story was happening every day in a small restaurant in Brooklyn. Where a chef who'd learned to trust again made food that mattered. Where a man who'd learned to let go discovered what he'd been missing. Where 2 disasters built something beautiful from the wreckage. And where love, messy and complicated and real, proved to be exactly enough. The end. What city are you watching from? Rate this story from 0 to 10 in the comments below.